Welcome back to the Mind of Opex. You already know who it is, what it is, and what we're going to talk about today because you read the title. Anyways, let's just dive into it, shall we? I've made a video saying, speak even if your voice shakes. Of course, that got taken down on YouTube, so we're going to label it something else this time. Stand up for your fucking rights. Stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for what's true, and stand up for what is best and most righteous, most moral. There's a lot of things you're hearing on the TV, from government, from big tech, that want you to get rid of your rights and to obey and comply. Don't comply. Don't obey. Why? Why are you complying and obeying? To keep your job? Well, guess what? Because you're complying, everyone has to comply. If you did not comply, and you were a man, because that's the difference between men and fucking pussies, men fought back. Men always fought back. If you have your tail between your legs, and you're not getting any value out of it, stand up for your fucking rights. I'm sick of this shit. Now, I'm not sick of them going after my rights. That's going to be an everlasting thing. What I'm sick of are pussies. You just look their direction, and they're already complying. I can walk into a fucking Wegmans, or a Tops, or a Publix, or just a supermarket, and I can walk into this Walmart. Let's just say Walmart, because that's universal. I walk into a Walmart and everyone's complying. No one has a freedom of thought. No one gives a fuck about anyone, about how well they're doing, their health, anything. It's sick. And I see a lot of young people complying because they don't have any alphas to look up to. They didn't have a fucking father figure, a good father figure. So they're not standing up. This country is being taken from us, swept under the rug from us. Whatever rights you thought you had is getting stripped away. And it's based on confusion. People are confused why they should be complying. And people are confused why people are complying. The confusion's making people comply. And the confusion is bewildering to those who are witnessing it. And the compliance is only going to bring more tyranny. Tyranny brings tyranny. Tyranny does not bring peace. Dropping bombs for peace is like fucking for virginity. It's impossible. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. So, I want you to fight for your rights. Now I hear things just on the TV and people are fucking losing their minds. So, on TV, so I'm trying to get my brother into trucking. My brother is in a very bad situation in his life. He's been in a very bad situation for five years or so. And some would argue 10 years. But I'm saying really bad in the last 5 years, with 3.5 years of prison and other things. And he hasn't had a full-time job since he's gotten out, and he's on parole. And I'm trying to get him into trucking. And he doesn't want to get into trucking because of two things. A, his parole officer scares him to even ask if he... My brother isn't doing shit right now. Of course the parole officer is going to say, yeah, you're going to actually do something very valuable to the world? Yeah, I'll let you fucking go get your CDL and BOTR. I mean, what, are you going to drink and drive? I mean, day one of that, you'd be fired or dead. So, anyways. So, my point is, he hears on TV that there's mask and, I'll say, certificate of V's, COVs, for truck drivers. And I'm just like, buddy, they don't know anything about truck driving. The people on TV that are telling you about truck driving and truck driving shortages and all the bullshit that you hear and Biden's making a mandate for truckers to all get the COV in the muzzle. I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what not to say, and I don't give a fuck. I just know that you know what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter what language I use. Anyways, so he's scared because he thinks that he's not going to be able to work the rest of his life. And I'm like, no, now's the time. Do it while you can. Get your CDL before 2022 and make a lot of money in 2022. That's how I look at it, at least. I said, hey, man, they're starting drivers at 50 plus cents a mile. They're getting people straight out of school at 60 cents a mile. Just think about it real quick. If you make, 600 miles a week, 50 cents a mile, let's say, that's $300. No, 600 miles a day. That's $300 a day. Times that by 7. Let's just say $2,000 a week to start. I mean, because I would help you find the job that would best suit you, right? So I'm trying to explain to them, hey, they don't know anything about trucking. They can't force that on you. There's always going to be dedicated drop and hook type freights, and there's going to be tons of options for you regardless. And if there's a truck driver shortage, I mean, just go to a truck stop at 8 p.m. and try to watch all these motherfuckers all pull into 0 spots. There's 0 spots in the truck stop. There's 0 spots at 8 o'clock. And then there's going to be hundreds of people coming in after that trying to find a spot. They ain't going to find anywhere to park. They're going to park on the side of the road, on the highway. And let me ask you, how many truck drivers do you think is going to take a COV? To keep their job, they would. Some of them. Most of them, no. Don't you guys understand? To just say, no, I'm not going to do it because it's too scary and uncertain. Well, that's the problem. Truck driving has always been that. It's always been that. So, let me ask you guys, if my brother was to get into truck driving, right now, get in the truck or get his CDL by January 1st, he comes down to Florida with me under permission of his parole officer. I get a job. I work there for a month or so, and I build up rapport and such, and I'll train my brother. All right? I'll train my brother. And shit, we might even do teams where I'm driving 12 hours work me, 12 hours work him. We split the miles. Who doesn't want that? Especially when you're not doing shit. But he's scared. He is scared because what if all of a sudden he makes $20K in the first few months, and then all of a sudden they're like, you need a COV or a face muzzle, and he'd be like, oh my god, it's all going to hell now. We gotta fucking find some land and some property, and he's scared. He thinks that we need to get the land now before it's too late. Yes, this country's being taken over. It's been for over 20 years, and some would argue it was taken over 100 years ago with the Federal Reserve. Regardless, point is, what you see on TV should not scare you from speaking and achieving the success that you want in life. Speaking the variety of wisdom and understandings and teachings and truths. To act and to be the greatest version of yourself that you can be. If the TV's scaring you or the Biden, his speech, if you're scared of this guy, you don't understand how politics work. A, you don't understand anything. You're dumb. You're minimally bliss, but probably retarded. If you think that Biden is controlling things. 2, if somebody is scaring you, ask yourself, is there any variables? Is there any way around it? The answer is always yes. If they say you can't work without a COV, you work without a COV. That's how we make the change in our world. So stand up against this shit and stop losing your futures over being uncertain or scared. Look, I'm not excited to go into trucking either. I know what it's about. I can't stand trucking at times, at most of the times. You know, you're in a blizzard, right? Shipper's calling you, everyone's calling you, and you're calling your dispatch, hey, you gotta change this appointment time. No, we're not changing the appointment. Be there. I don't care if you fucking have to, if we're gonna log you in under another name, under your e-logs. We're gonna find a way to get you there. The reason I'm bringing that up is that there's always a way, and B, it doesn't have to be the situation you think it is, or you assume it to be. So stop being scared and start doing. You know what alphas do? They don't give a fuck about permission. I don't need permission. I'm gonna do. Straight up. That's what this country is founded on. If it's affecting your prosperity, if it's affecting your ability to be prosperous in any sort of facet, your happiness and your prosperity, if it's affecting you, ignore it. Ignore it. See, it doesn't matter what Biden says on the TV. It does not. What matters is your interpretation of that as truth. If Biden says everyone needs a COV or else you'll never work again, there's going to be a lot of people scared in getting that COV. But what you should be doing is saying, why? Oh, for the health and safety of everyone else? Well, Opex studied virology, right? So we know it's all bullshit. We know what they're saying is complete bullshit. It's complete opposite of reality. Complete opposite. Not only are they completely lying about everything, they are stealing the money in the country and going towards infrastructure bills that are more aligned to an agenda of climate change, COV, things of this nature. And they want to make it so no one can operate fuel-powered vehicles anymore. Again, climate change. So ask yourself, the uncertainty of climate change, is that going to scare you guys into paying taxes? If all of a sudden on your W-2s, there's a carbon tax on your labor stamp, you need to do one thing and one thing only. Don't comply. Don't obey. Get rid of that money because you, unless you contract to it, you're not obligated. That's why they call these things mandatory. Do you even know what mandatory means? Mandatory if you comply. Meaning, essentially, if you agree to this, you must do it. See, when you're under arrest, you're not obligated to do anything when you're under arrest, right? You as a person, you're not obligated to do anything. Now, if the cop says, you need to tell me about this, this, and this, that's called mandatory. You are mandatorily not supposed to comply, but if you choose to comply, you must speak the whole truth. And a lot of people don't understand that. See, if you just said to the cop, I don't answer questions, what does mandatory mean at that point? What does it mean? It means if you agree to it, you must do it. So that's the difference between legalities and illegalities. Legalities is that there is compliance. If there's no compliance, how could you be arrested, let's say, if you're not even speaking? You have the right to remain silent. Yes. Be silent. Be silent. And then when it's time to talk, talk. You need to understand how reality works and how to show those intelligent superpowers that you have accumulated over the years and use it. Because, look, there is not much time, and I get that, but there is time. And there is variables, and there is leverages. There are variables and leverages, and you can lever the situation how you want. You just got to understand how reality works. and the COV and the muzzles. Don't be scared of that. Don't be scared of the guy on TV, whether that's your favorite anchorman or if it's the fucking politician of demonic hell. Don't obey, no problems. If you obey, they're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing until you push back. See, if no one got the COV, would we be in the situation we are in now? No, we wouldn't be. We would not be in the situation we are now if people said, I'm going to follow the truths. If one person's allowed to speak on the topic and one person's not, just because of their ideologies, one's a virologist and one's a virologist, though. Or one's a doctor and one's a doctor. Does it even matter? Because one's allowed to talk and one's not. And it's all about conformity. If you conform, you're obeying. Does that make sense? If you conform, you're obeying. If they say that there's this new law, carbon tax, if you obey, that number is going to keep increasing. One, I mean, no taxes in the United States until the late 1700s they tried it. Tax on tea. Did they stop there? Did they stop there? No. Power inevitably corrupts, and if you give them power and leverage over your life, they're not going to stop there. They're not going to stop there. Why would they? You're essentially collateral for a debt that is owed to essentially the elitists, the powers that be. I mean, just think to yourself, who is the United States in debt to? A lot of people used to think China. And I used to be like, China? They're not in debt to China. I mean, maybe somewhat, right? Somewhat in debt to China. But not like $20 trillion in debt to China. And then the thing you got to ask, okay, well, China's in debt too. And they're like $15 trillion in debt to who? To the U.S.? No. Once you realize the governments are a mediator between royalty, or rather the higher class, rather not millionaires, not even necessarily billionaires. I mean the powers that be. There's a different set of rules for them than us. Of course, they're not getting no COV. Oh my God, can you imagine Bill Gates getting a COV? Oh my God, that would be retarded. I mean, Bill Gates knows what the COV is. I mean, they created it, right? They created it in Pirbright. Not the COV, but the coronavirus in humans. I guess I'm allowed to say that. Because it's true. Pirbright made it. Who funds Pirbright and runs that, basically? Whoa, the Gates Foundation. So just think of it like this. You don't have much time, but that does not mean you need to surrender. That means now is more optimal to get those things done. Now is more optimal or preferred to do those things and to speak even if your voice shakes. I'm not scared of YouTube. I'm not scared of George Soros. I'm not scared of any of these people. I'm not scared of the NSA. I'm not scared of the CIA. I'm not scared of the FBI. I'm not scared of any of these people. Now, regardless of what you think, these people can only hurt you if you let them. Compliance. Don't comply. Do not consent. Do not comply. And speak even if your voice shakes. The only way we can stop this is through philosophy, meaning that we can speak good arguments using reason and evidence and logic. 2, we're not going to be pussies and put our tail between our legs and just say, there's a new law that passed. No. What was passed was words written on a piece of paper. It's your choice to comply. Words written on a piece of paper. Who is enforcing the words on the paper? The brainwashed, the police, the people that are just doing their jobs. They're enforcing it. Not Biden. Biden's not enforcing anything. Biden's not doing anything except for speaking what is written on teleprompter. 2, what else does he do? He is signing papers when told to sign. You're scared of this guy? You're going to obey this guy? He didn't write those words on the paper. He wrote Joseph Biden in cursive. Not even legible. That's what he did. You're scared of this guy? You're going to obey this guy? I don't care if it's Trump, Biden. I don't give a fuck. You're going to obey this guy? I don't care if it's Hillary Clinton. I don't even care if it's a pastor of a church. If they're going to write some evil shit on a piece of paper that is going to destroy the future of your generation, you know, your kids aren't going to have any money. You're not even going to see your SSI Social Security check late in life. You're not even going to see any of it. They are taking your time, money, and effort. They're taking away your health. And you're going to comply? Now, who is ruining this country? The people that want to take away your rights or the compliance? There's always going to be someone trying to take away your rights. Read a history book. There's always someone that is paid to depopulate their region, their country. Read a history book. Stared at Genghis Khan. There's always someone trying to depopulate the planet. Make you weaker and docile and slave-like. It's never going to end. The only way that we can suppress tyranny is to not comply to it, to resist it. Resist tyranny. Speak even if your voice shakes. We're 22 minutes into this, and I think that's going to be the end of this video. So, thanks for watching, guys. Plenty more content coming. Please, do yourself, your loved ones, your fellow countrymen a favor. And stop putting your tail between your legs and letting them kill your grandma and all these other people that they're killing. And if you want me to go into detail about any of this, let me know. I will go into detail on Odyssey for you guys to let you know exactly what's going on here if you guys are somehow still confused. I mean, if you're subscribed to my channel and you're confused, come on, man. Watch the whole video. Anyways, that's enough for this video. Plenty more content coming. I have a lot more content coming, especially in the next coming months when I become a truck driver. I'm going to be so bored on the road. I'm going to be making videos every day again. So, speak even if your voice shakes. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Don't surrender. This is the only thing in life that you need to stand up to. This is it. Tyranny. Stand up to tyranny. Negate the Black Lives Matter bullshit. Do Black Lives matter? Does it matter to me? Why do you care about what I do? It's called fear. Trying to scare you into submission through different avenues of whether it is Black Lives Matter or Antifa or these really, really dangerous groups which are funded by some of those powers that be. So then it becomes Black Lives Matter comes up to me and goes, are you a Donald Trump fan? No. You like black people, right? You respect them? Yeah. What does it matter what I do? In this country, we have innocent until proven guilty. Unless someone does an act, what do you care what people think? Because they don't care. They just want to scare you. When the TV's on and Black Lives Matter rioted and bloodied up the streets with baseball bats or whatever the fuck they do, don't be scared of them. Understand they are paid thugs. I mean, you can look at the exchange of money. It is very viable and real. I mean, it's 100%. Look, Black Lives Matter. we'll talk about Black Lives Matter real quick. It doesn't matter what I think about black lives, does it? The truth is, we don't have to be talking about Black Lives Matter. They are not being murdered in the street or hunted. I've made that video before. It is literally baffling to me that people think that they're getting hunted in the streets or something. There's no one hunting black people. Then, too, what is the agenda of Black Lives Matter? Now, again, I was going to finish this video like 4 minutes ago. Let's just finish it with these few next talking points. I got a magazine last year's edition magazine this year. Somebody gave us a chronic magazine with chronic weed and stuff. But the second you open it, it's all Black Lives Matter rhetoric. It's the most sickest thing I've ever seen in my life. They're trying to get potheads dumb and docile and being Black Lives Matter. Look, the only way to stop people killing black people is to make them more aware of their rights, how the world works, give them more understanding and guidance. Not just going up and scaring white people. You think scaring white people who have never hurt a black person or never even had a thought to even hurt a black person or even a thought of racism or any of that shit? You think scaring that person's going to fix the problem? Or are you the problem? And if the police need to be defunded to fix the problems, then you're doing the wrong thing. If you're trying to change where resources are being earned, you don't know the problem. The problem is that you don't understand the problem. And you're getting paid, Mr. or Mrs. Black Lives Matter, to do wrong, to do evils, to confuse the world more. There's no one getting hunted in the streets, and they're definitely not up for debate. Like I would, right? Like, I have a lot of theories and ideas in life. I may not be right on those ideas, and I might even in my mind have a thought in my back of my head like, this is wrong, but I can't really figure it out. I'll still argue. Whether I know I'm right, or I'm probably wrong. Everything in between. I'll argue. The reason why I'll argue is not because I want to show you who's right. I want to figure out what's right. And I think that should be mutual. Because if I gave you $1 and you gave me $1, we'd both have $1. So stop exchanging resources. Resources don't matter as the change. But if I gave you an idea, you gave me an idea, we both have 2 ideas now. And now we can change the world. It's enough for this video. Speak even if your voice shakes. Stay on top of morality and righteousness and try to do the right things. Try to be the right person regardless of legality. And I will fight. Now, I'm an anarchist, but I will fight to bring down evil. I will fight. I will fight to bring... Evil's always going to exist, but I'll still fight. It's an endless fight. But the only way we can prosper and be happy is to not let tyranny control us. And the only way we can do that is to not consent or comply. Period. Thanks for watching this video. Again, I can go like another hour like this, but you get enough of what I'm talking about. I basically want to reiterate, speak even if your voice shakes, but in a different way, where Odyssey viewers aren't going to just hear the same message again. But speak even if your voice shakes. Do it. What's stopping you? What is stopping you? Ostracization? You're scared to be ostracized out of society? What is the thing? If you're scared of that, tyranny's already going to come. If you're going to comply, tyranny's already here. And they will push and push and push and push. Read a history book, please. Please. And that's not just me being sarcastic or just saying something to say something. Seriously, read a history book. Read what happens in history by every country in the world. They want to depopulate that planet or that region. They want to control that region, which population control is basically government. That's the mediators between them and us. So they use the government to control us. Govern, control, mental. They control our minds. How do they control our minds? They write words on a piece of paper, and you are dumb enough to comply rather than resist. See you guys.